Welcome back to my second part on Claude Code with Power BI. In this video, we will use Claude Code to create data models and change relations in our Power BI report. And we will also use the planning mode to investigate how we can implement the last refresh date in our report. So let's get started. From the last time we have already set up our Power BI project file report here. This is this folder here. And again, I will start with VS Code. And from open folder, I will open our project folder here. Now, when you start a new session, Claude Code will check the Claude MD file that contains also metadata and descriptions, but we can ask it to reread the Claude MD file to update all information. And it will gladly do this for us and give us a short description what he has found in the MD file. So here's a summary. It's about the SQL database, about the tables and the metadata and how it should use this project and where to write all the code. Now, when you work with VS Code and Power BI Desktop, there is one limitation: you can't work in parallel. This means if you make a change using Claude Code, you have to save it and then open Power BI report and have a look at it. So what we have to do is to go to our report folder, open Power BI Desktop, see what has changed, then close it, go back to VS Code, let Claude work and implement, and then again reopen it. So you can't use both tools at the same time. We have these four tables here: customer, product, sales order header, sales order details. These come from our database, and it has some information. And as you can see, we have here the orders, we have the details, we have the products connected with the order details, but the customer is not connected with the sales order header. So the first thing that we want to do is to instruct Claude Code to connect these two tables using the custom ID. Like that, because we can't work in parallel, I'm closing Power BI Desktop and switch to my Claude instance. So in VS Code, in my chat window, I can now create this relation by ordering Claude Code to do this. I will describe this like a business user would do. So I'm not talking about cardinality and one-to-many or so on, but I just would instruct Claude here to say create a relation between the customer table and sales order header using the customer ID columns. Make sure that one customer can have many orders and one order belongs to exactly one customer. This should be an easy task for Claude to create this relation, and we will see here in the window the file that it is touching. You see there's a file called relationship table, and we will allow to modify it. And the green part here shows us the changes that have been added to this relationship table. And now this is saved in relationships table file. And now I have to go back to Power BI Desktop, start this report here, and hopefully there is no error If you face any error here, just copy the error, copy it back to Claude, and it will correct its code, because sometimes it can have problems with the syntax. But this looks good. So we have sales order header, we have the customer. The relationship is created using the customer ID. One customer can have multiple headers, and one sales order header always belongs to exactly one customer. Okay, this is fine and exactly how we want this to have. Again, I don't save here in PowerBI Desktop. This was just for testing purpose if you want so. And we are working here in VS Code. Now, one part of almost every Power BI project is a need to have a kind of date dimension table. And now I would like to instruct Claude to create such a table. So let's say create a date dimension table. It shall contain the date, individual columns for the day, month, and year as numbers. Also create a column with the written month name, e.g. February. Make sure that the sort order of the written month column is based on the month number. So 1 is January, 2 February, and so on. We may need this later on if we create a data dimension and we want to have this month sorted by the month number, not alphabetically. Add a column for the week of year. Make sure the first week of the year is a week with at least 4 days of the new year. Create the relation from the date column in the date dimension table to the order date column in the sales order header table. Don't be afraid to make some typos here. Claude understands what you want even if some words are misspelled. So let's send this to Claude. The task would be to create a new table as defined with a date column with 3 number columns for day, month, year, a column from type text with the name in it, a week of year column, and a relation between the order date and the date in the dimension table. It's coming to an end and creating a summary, and we will simply check if this is correct what he did. At least no syntax error when opening the report. And now check the tables. We have a date column, a day, a month, a year. We have the name and we have the week of year. This looks good. And from the relation, we have the date dimension here, the sales order above. And when we check the relation, you can see as instructed, the date column is linked to the sales order header order date. And on one day, we can have multiple orders. This looks great. Perfect. Now, sometimes if you're not 100% sure what you want or how you want to implement a certain requirement, it might be a good idea to switch to plan mode. So you can put in a requirement and ask Claude Code to think about it, how to implement it in the best way. And one such requirement could be that we need the last refresh date, and Claude should now find a way how this can be implemented. And in the code plugin, we can switch here to plan mode. You see it's automatically, so typically it understands what you want if you want to create something or if you want to chat with him. But now we're going to a plan mode, and in the plan mode, we would now say, okay, I want to save the last refresh date somewhere because I don't know exactly how this is working and where we can do this in the report, and later present it to the user. How can we do this? Any ideas? Now I would expect that it says we should create a table and in our load query create a script that writes the actual date into the table, and later on we can show it in the report. So let's ask Claude what he is thinking and what he would suggest. Of course, this is an obvious problem, but it will show you the idea of the planning mode. And from time to time, it's a good idea to discuss your implementation ideas with someone else. And if you don't have a colleague or a professional, it could be a good idea to discuss it with the artificial intelligence. And here is the plan. And it says the user wants to capture when the report data was refreshed. That's exactly what we want. Power BI doesn't expose this natively, unfortunately, so we have to implement it ourselves. And it says, okay, there are different ways how we can do this. And it says we should use M. So M is the language of the Power Query, and the M query runs at the start of the refresh according the date time, and then it should put some code in here. That's a load script, and creating a column, and later on a measure that makes a nice formatting, and we can place it on the report. So it looks nice, and I say yes, looks good, and auto accept. Please implement this plan for us. So he has finished implementing the plan. He has also created a card visual. I'm not sure if this is exactly what we want, but we will see if it is working. Okay, it has some problems, and we can say copy to the clipboard. And we should have here last refresh. And let's check out if the last refresh has some meaningful values. Yeah, looks good. So this should be created based on the refresh that was called in refreshing the data from the database. And now we can paste in the error. So let me reopen it. If this was really the error message. Looks so. We can also use the snipping tool to create a screenshot of the error. And paste it directly in here. And Claude is capable to understand the error message and make an OCR from the picture. Let's see if it is able to fix the error. Looks like it has found the cause. Now it's looking up the schema definition to identify what went wrong. You may need some patience when wipe coding. It says he had fixed the issue, so let's check this out. And here it is, our visual with the last refresh date in our Power BI report and our tables with all the relations that have been generated now by Claude Code. Thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next part. Bye bye.